Leo 2018 yearly horoscopes with Lada and Marina from Astrolada.com. Thank you so much, Marina, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into a quite a lengthy video because there's so many things happening for Leo. They're triggering angles in the horoscope of Leo, which means cardinal life changes 2018, and we're gonna break it down with the amazing astrologer Marina. Hi, Marina.
Hi, Lada. Thanks for having me. Great to be here again.
Thank you for joining me to bring in more, mature and more down-to-earth knowledge from your water, earth horoscope, because I'm all about excitement with my fire and air. But before I start, I just want to say to everyone that we're bringing out the 2018 calendar which we created with Marina. It's 122 pages. You receive it like an ebook with all the important astrological events for 2018, and it is 30% off till the middle of December. So try and get yours. It's only $20. After that, it becomes $30. And it has all the important transit aspect, lunations, and most important information you will not find anywhere else on the internet, which is about when planets become visible and invisible, because this is knowledge that is recently rediscovered from ancient astrology, and it's proving to be the key element in predictive astrology. When a planet is not visible, things that this planet rules do not happen. They do not manifest easily. It's very simple logic. And Marina has calculated for us all those days when planets are invisible. Say if Venus is not visible, don't do your fashion show then, or don't organize a webinar for women, or don't, go on a date, And the same way, she's also doing a webinar on the 10th of December about your personal heliacal phases. It's called heliacal phases if a planet is visible and invisible, where she'll give you a prediction for the next 5 years personally, because for every person is very unique, very different when their planets are visible and invisible. She'll send you a calculation list of all the visibility and invisibility of your planets for the next 5 years, and this webinar she'll explain what it means. For example, I always keep giving this example. When Mars became visible in my horoscope after 30 years of being invisible, I finally was able to have career success, and Mars rules my career. So we'll explain to you, these are the most important things. For example, you might have had 20 years of a dry period in sex, and you're like, or love, and you're like, why, God? And then you realize that Venus becomes visible for you next year, and this all makes sense, because finally the matters of Venus, the outer matters of Venus, love, become present in your life. So do come. This is amazing webinar. This information is not anywhere there. You get a lot of free things with it as well. Plus, I think the calendar, the heliacal calendar. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to the advertisement. I hope you realize we have to do that, because this is how we live. And now I give the word to Marina to lead us from 2018, and I will also add my insight. So this is two-way thing. So thank you so much, Marina. Go ahead. 2018, Leo.
Okay, so let's start with Saturn, because Saturn will be extremely strong next year. Basically, from December this year, from the 20th of December, Saturn enters the sign of its rulership, Capricorn. And it will stay there for approximately 2.5 years, which for Leo means that it will affect their 6th house. And this is a very serious topic, when we talk about Saturn, especially when it is so strong, we really need to tune into that energy and actually to respect and to be prepared for that. Of course, 6th house, it's about our work, our daily routines, it's about our health, and we need to be really more responsible about these topics. And sometimes, people get too scared when they hear about Saturn, and they think that this is kind of, like a restriction about doing anything. And I can tell you that it is not the case. You can definitely achieve success, but the main idea is that it happens after a lot of effort. And if you truly deserve that, you're going to receive it. That's the favorite thing about Saturn. It is the planet of justice. So if you have really put a lot of efforts into something, you're going to be rewarded. Actually, you will receive what you deserve. And be prepared that actually it may take some time. You know, sometimes it may take, you know, like there might be a period to get used to this energy. Sometimes, you know, there might be some kind of boundaries, some kind of restrictions for you. But after that, if you really, you know, try to put your attention into this area, actually you can achieve some success, and it can be something stable. That's another good thing for Saturn, that actually it can make your life more stable, more predictable. Usually there are now sudden surprises, things, you know, even if there are changes, they are smooth, slow changes. It's not like Uranus, which can change your life overnight. Usually these are, you know, some deep processes that take time. So you have the time actually to prepare yourself.
Yeah, it's like your boss telling you, we'll give you this promotion in a year and a half if you complete this and this. They give you extra duties.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
houses work, and you know what is expected from you. It's no fun having to do the extra work, but you know where it's gonna lead. Yeah, and 6th house is about work and duty.
Yeah, and very often it's about actually having more responsibilities. And sometimes we may feel overwhelmed because of that. And sometimes we may feel like we don't get actually what we deserve. But you have to be patient. Really, if you put enough efforts, then you're going to receive your, you know, what you really deserve. But it definitely takes some time. Of course, if your work is actually related with Saturn, you can benefit even more because this energy is kind of, you know, familiar to you. And Saturn actually rules areas like the construction business, government organizations, some big hierarchic structures, you know, where there are strict rules and everyone knows their position, and there are people, you know, who stay above you and there are people below you. So you're kind of in the middle. Then in this case, Saturn can have a more, you know, a more positive influence for you, and actually it can reward you if your work is related with Saturn. The other thing,
more work overall and more.
Yeah, usually it's about working more. Yeah.
Saturn is in their 6th house. They, for some reason, they have to work more. They have to structure their work as well, and their efficiency. Because 6th house is about how organized you are, your workplace, your home, your environment around you, which is like your daily routines. And something will happen to point you and to make you very aware of something that you're maybe taking too long, or you're not as efficient in your work or in your environment overall. So something either from outside will push you to structure it to make you more efficient and organized, or you will push yourself in that direction for your daily routines, somehow to be much more disciplined. And maybe some of you will start waking up earlier, others will start being on a strict diet, on a strict workout, exercise routine. But that's fantastic, because I've observed that when Saturn transits the 6th house, there is no other time like that in life to make changes to your health and to your routines, which sticks with you forever or for life, because Saturn is endurance and longevity. So if you've always wanted to lose that weight, or to start exercising, or to become vegan, or you know, start waking up early and going for that walk every day, while Saturn is in your 6th house till 2020, this is going to happen. Saturn will give you the discipline, the self-perseverance, and if you're resisting it, Saturn will force you to do it. Maybe a health problem will appear, especially Saturn-related health problem, which is about stiffness and coldness and things slowing down and feeling the age and restrictions to your body. And whether you want it to know, Saturn will drag you there kicking and screaming. But when Saturn is in Capricorn, a person is more willing, because a person knows they have to go through that. Saturn in Capricorn acts without resistance, so to speak, to those responsibilities and duties and restrictions that we usually have to impose to ourselves. And Saturn in the 6th house makes you also be more willing to be a servant. And because Leo is a king, Leo feels entitled to the best positions, and that can feel a little bit disharmonious to the nature of Leo, because now for a couple of years, starting from 2018, you have to put yourself in a more service position, in a position where you restrict yourself, or you have to start from the bottom, climbing gradually up in certain area of your life. You know, you're not gonna get immediate results. So, you know, it's but Saturn will still give you the perseverance and the mentality to do that. Sorry for the interruption, Marina.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Actually, here the main idea is that we can prevent the negatives of this transit if we used to do that, by our own will. So if you discipline yourself and if you take the decision to be strict and to keep some rules, even if they're your rules, I think that this is kind of, making the influence smoother for you. If you're trying to resist everything and you think that you can break all of the rules, it's just not going to happen, and some bigger problems can happen. So changing your diet is one of the best things actually which you can do during this transit, and it's your decision, and you're restricting yourself in some way, so you can kind of make things easier, for example, for your career or for some other areas, if you used to put the energy in about your health and about your physical body. And we definitely need to pay more attention on the health, especially people who have some kind of chronic diseases. This might be a time when they really need to be very strict about their regime, to put attention on that. And again, we are not talking about some sudden shocking, changes. Usually these are some long-term processes. And now you really need to pay attention on that. So don't freak out about this. It's not, it doesn't need to be something really bad or serious, but you have to be responsible. And it's about your health as well, when we talk about Saturn in 6th house. And 6th house is actually all kinds of obligations. So for some people, it might even be related with, for example, taking care of someone else, like taking care of their parents or children. The main idea is that it's about responsibilities and sometimes helping others. Yeah. And, yeah, I don't like this word, but yeah, sometimes it's necessary. Yeah, really, that's the case.
Getting up from your high chair and throne, Leos, for a little bit, to go down and help those weaker, to dirty your hands as well for the groundwork, and that's necessary.
Yeah.
If you want to be on top, you have to start from there.
Yeah, and here I think that some good news is that actually Saturn won't be in 5th house anymore, and Saturn in 5th house is actually quite a difficult position. Because 5th house is about your entertainments and the things that you love. And I think that the previous few years also was not so easy for Leo. So that's the positive side, that on the other hand, the topic about love and their romantic life actually can be refreshed in some way. So yeah, that's another positive thing.
Right, any fun. My moon is in Leo, so Saturn transit the 5th house. Can go out, can party, can do the things I wanted. Because it's about having fun and expressing yourself naturally. And it was all about work rather than fun, or for me, or as well responsibilities that came to you in regards to your children, or in regards to love life, or kind of a breakdown of love life, or blockage of love life. Well,
Yeah, exactly. So that's the good news also for Leo.
Yes. So it's focusing now on perfecting yourself, let's say, your health, your daily routines, you're putting focus on your work. So at the same time, though, you can party more. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, Saturn in 6th house, there is a harmony between Saturn and 6th house. They're kind of similar because, for example, Saturn in 5th house, it's totally different type of energy. But 6th house, Saturn, they're all related with. Yeah. So actually, Saturn can have quite positive and is actually on place in 6th house. So yeah, that's something positive. The other positive news is about Jupiter, which most of the year until November will be in Scorpio, which is the 4th house for Leo. And this is actually great news for your home, for your family. You can really, enjoy spending more time with your family members and staying at home. People who would like to relocate, people who would like to have their own property, invest their money into property. This is a very good position when Jupiter is in your 4th house. If you would like to, for example, change the place where you're living, this is also great. And sometimes it might be, the changes about your home are positive, but it's not necessary that you are going to move. Sometimes, for example, another member or someone else who used to live with you now leaves the house, and there is more space where you're living and you feel more comfortable there. So there are different ways in which this transit can affect you, but the main idea is, yeah, that this is something positive happening.
Oh, you can get like, I remember when it happened to me, I got a great flatmate. It's like, I loved her, you know.
Yeah.
Someone that I didn't like living with, they left, and another one came, and it was much better home environment. And it's also, I've seen people, for example, when Jupiter is about making bigger, growing, expanding. So they can be doing some renovations in their home and putting a new wing to their house, or an extra room, or, you know, also an extra family member you can add sometimes.
Yeah, very often.
And your parents or family roots become a great source of joy. You actually spending time at home with family nourishes your soul so much, like you reconnect on a soul level, spiritual level, with your family, with your country of origin as well. You can become interested in your family tree or history of your country, and get a sense of meaning from there, and belonging and rootedness, because Jupiter in the fourth house is almost like preparing you for the next 12 years, because the fourth house is the bottom of the horoscope. And there it wants to make you feel like, give you a great, strong foundation and a source of meaning through your connection to your past, to your family, by healing certain traumas or painful situations connected with your family and past in emotional world. So after that, when Jupiter starts going upwards in your horoscope, and you focus on achievements and developing those other areas that are more visible in your life, you have a strong foundation emotionally.
Yeah, and for example, if someone had a conflict with their family members, or they didn't see each other for a long time, it's a great time actually to repair, to reconnect, and, you know, some very positive things can happen, including with the parents or with your own children. So it's really time to, you know, to reconnect with your
become
family.
a great source of support. For example, for me, my mom will be here more. I'm adding a fourth family member, first of all, in this period. It's so true. Just looking even from the moon, a fourth family member. We're moving, we're going for a few months to my country of origin. I haven't been for a couple of years, and my parents will be watching the baby, so yes.
Yeah, you receive support from your family, literally, so it's great, really great. Okay, and actually by the end of the year, so from the 7th of November, Jupiter enters Sagittarius, the sign of its rulership, and this is the 5th house for Leo. And this will be very positive, especially keeping in mind that previously they had Saturn there. And it can really be a time for more fun, for more entertainment, and having children actually won't be related with such, you know, so many responsibilities and obligations. It will be more the positive side, you know, the fun side of having a child. So, of course, for having a new family member, it's again a great time. Or something positive might happen in the life of your child. If your children are already grown up, then something positive might happen to them. It's really a great time. For people also who are artists or creative people, this can be a very inspiring time. You can be more confident. Fifth house is actually associated with Leo energy. So it's really about yourself, about your ego, about your confidence. And Jupiter there actually is in very harmonious communication with the nature of Leo. So
Leo will finally become more like themselves. For the past 2-3 years, it almost feels like a lot of Leos were drained somehow by their this magnetism of the 5th house and enjoyment of life. And well, it's not bad. Saturn was supporting them from there with trine aspect. But it's almost like when from November 2018, Jupiter enters and they're back in the center and having fun and living life to the fullest, more like this lustful life comes back and this joy from life and of course romance.
Yeah, great time for love, new love. And it's not about, you know, some drama, so many responsibilities. It's about really the the pleasant, the fun side of this life area. So yeah, Leo love that.
And you see, guys, and also you have a lot of work responsibility, so it will be work hard, play hard from November 2018. Both you have both. You shouldn't forget Saturn in the 6th house is about restrictions with your, restriction or extra responsibilities to work. But Jupiter will give you also the fun side of life. So it's not.
Yeah, there is a compensation here, I think. So they should feel really better. Okay, and next we have something really interesting. Both Mars and Venus are going retrograde during 2018, which is quite rare. And first we begin with Mars, which actually becomes retrograde once in 2 years. So you can see, guys, that this is actually really a big deal. And most of the time it will be in Aquarius, in your 7th house. Just let me tell you the exact date. So from the 26th of June until the 28th of August, Mars is retrograde. Now, Mars in 7th house. Well, of course, the main area is related with your relationships and partnerships. And Mars there, yeah, from one side, it could be related with some confrontations, or at least it will be more difficult to negotiate with others. So you have to be extremely careful. On the other hand, if you think that it is time to, cut certain relationship, it could be about business or personal relationship. Actually, this might be the right time to make that step. But keep in mind that the other side may also provoke you, and it might be really difficult to have a harmonious breakup or whatever. On the other hand, we can say that when we have a retrograde planet, usually something from the past might come up. So, of course, this is about relationships, and this is a great time if you're willing to connect with an ex-partner or ex-boyfriend.
Because it's
absolutely, yeah. It's really the best time. It's not a good time for you to get married when Mars is retrograde, let me tell you. So until the 14th of August, actually, Mars will be in Aquarius. So this month and a half is not a good time for you to get married. But on the other hand, you may realize, some conflicts in terms of your relationships. And now they may come up on the surface. And you might be, sometimes it might be, because of the other person or the circumstances. But the main idea is that you may need to find some solutions for this situation. And if this relationship is, for example, unhealthy, now you might realize that you have to put the end or, find another solution maybe. So definitely the focus is on relationships. And the last 2 weeks, so from the 14th of August till the 28th, Mars is going back to your 6th house in Capricorn. And for these 2 weeks, first of all, you need to avoid some serious, interventions like surgeries if they're planned. It's not the best time. Mars in 6th house retrograde. The other thing, you should pay attention more on your health. When we talk about Mars, these are not some serious issues. Mars usually brings things like, having a flu or a cold or something with high temperature. Yeah.
Inflammatory, cuts, hurt. Saturn is chronic. But Saturn is there as well in this.
Yeah, but technically they won't be in conjunction, so that's good news. They won't be in conjunction. But anyway, yeah, you have to be more careful with your health. Also with your work. Yeah, some confrontations again are possible. You might be over impulsive, and it's not the best time also to start some important new business projects. If it's something which comes from the past, then this is a great time. But anyway, if it's totally new, then you would better wait some time.
And don't fight with your colleagues. They might fight with you. Try to be patient.
Yeah. Okay. And next we have Venus, which is retrograde after Mars, starting from the 5th of October until the 16th of November. Most of the time it will be in Scorpio, so it will be in your 4th house, and basically Venus will be stationary on the 11th degree in Scorpio. So if you have a cusp of a house or a planet which is close to this degree, you can feel very strong the influence of this transit. However, when we talk about Venus, even if it's retrograde, it's not necessarily related with some serious big problems and fights or something like that. Venus is a positive planet. So yeah, you may feel uncomfortable in some way. Yeah, you may need to take care of something, but usually it's not, so stressful.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, we're talking about your family and home and property issues. For example, something positive you can do is to redecorate your home, change something there, if you need to refresh the atmosphere around you. On the other hand, yeah, I don't think that it will be related with something really serious or, like serious troubles. It's just that you may not feel so comfortable at home. That's, I think, the main.
Maybe Jupiter brings you a new home, and then Venus goes retrograde today in the 4th house as well, and you have to.
Yeah, you need to change, for example, something in your plans. Yeah, but it's not necessarily something really stressful or something big. And the end of this period, so from the 31st of October, let me see, so until the 16th of November, Venus goes back to Libra and your 3rd house. And this time you should be careful more with your communication, especially with people that you communicate on a daily basis. It's like your neighbors, your brothers and sisters, people who are necessarily not so close to you, but you communicate with them. Also, 3rd house is related with all kinds of technical communications, like, your computer, your telephone, this stuff. So, for example, something may need to be repaired, something needs to be changed. What else can we say?
Maybe they can see their siblings they haven't seen for a while, or maybe a schoolmate from the early years, from their environment that they haven't seen for a while, can get in touch with them. Communication. You
great,
can get a piece of missing information. 3rd house is information that kind of helps you find out something more about something that you've forgotten about, and some kind of gossip or information comes now, a missing piece that helps you, get more information. Sorry.
Yeah, but generally Venus in Libra actually will make sextile with Leo, so we can say that this is also not such a difficult transit for you, but you need to be aware. All right, and the other thing which is actually quite important is the position of the lunar nodes. And we have the North Node in Leo until November, so most of the year. And you know that the North Node is very similar to Jupiter. This is the area where you need to focus more your attention. You need to put, to concentrate your energy. And 1st house, it's about your personality. It's about doing things on your own, being more independent, being more responsible, but, not in a difficult way. It's like, having more freedom to do the things that you really want to do. And on the other hand, of course, the opposite node, the South Node, is in 7th house, which means that you shouldn't rely so much on other people. It's better to take your own decisions. Even, if you're not so sure, then take the risk. Do the things like you think that you have to do. Also, when the South Node is in 7th house, it could be challenging for the area of relationships, because usually the South Node means that you have to give up on something, And for example, if you need to put the end of certain relationship, then the South Node can help you in this case. But generally, the main idea is actually to be more independent, to be active and initiative. Leo is a fire sign, so the main idea is to take some action. Not in a really impulsive way. It's not like the Aries, but anyway, you have to be the leader. You have to be the person who takes the decisions, especially for your own life. So don't be afraid to, to make that step that you really want to make.
Yeah, to step into your lionessness, because the North Node develop those Leo qualities, and you need that, Leos, especially after you know, Saturn being in your 5th house for 2.5 years, which maybe kind of kicked you in the butt a bit, or your confidence levels or your joy levels. And now the North Node in Leo makes you be like more Leo-like than before, and autonomous and a leader, and putting yourself first, not in a selfish way, but sometimes we need to take care of ourselves first, and that's the time, and that's the best strategy for success now.
Yeah. And finally, we have another interesting transit, Uranus, which will enter Taurus. And this will happen on the 15th of May. And Uranus will stay there until the 6th of November. On the 6th of November, it goes back to Aries. But anyway, if you have a cusp of a house or planet in the first few degrees of Taurus, you can really feel that intense energy. And actually, it will influence mainly your 10th house, which is, well, very important house. We can say that after first house, this is basically the most important house because it represents your reputation, your future goals, your career, your vocation. So this is really the time to reconsider what you would like to achieve in the future, and you know, make some serious drastic changes. Uranus is a planet that if you resist on the change, then it can destroy your life or certain area of your life. It's a little bit challenging because Taurus is quite a very, you know, a passive sign. But anyway, you have to make some changes. It's really the time. On the other hand, Uranus can bring more freedom, can make you more independent, can make your life more interesting, with more variety. So, of course, everything has its positive side. But the main thing is actually to check if you have some if you have a cusp of house or planet in the first few degrees. You are definitely going to feel this.
Yeah, because usually Uranus will be in your 10th house till 2024 or 6 or something like that. So, you know, this change in your social status in a big way, this new career, this new, more authentic job that gives you more freedom, that liberates you, might not come immediately now in 2018, unless maybe your midheaven of the 10th house, because is in the first 3 degrees, or if your sun is in Leo in the first 3 degrees, say you're born on the 23rd, 24th, 25th of July, you know, maybe your ascendant is those 3 degrees, and then you got a big shift in your social status and a big change in direction, which final ultimate goal is to liberate you, give you more freedom, more authenticity, to do the thing that feels most real to you. But it can feel disruptive in the moment, you know, when you're going through that change.
Yeah, so it looks like the year is going to be very interesting, and you know, important life areas are triggered. And for Leo, I think that mainly the relief will come from Saturn, which will no longer be in their 5th house. And especially the end of the year when Jupiter enters their 5th house, it's really in the beginning. Yeah, some great news.
Well, thank you so much, Marina. And guys, don't forget, our 2018 calendar is coming, is out, 30% off till the middle of December, and the 10th of December webinar with 5 years prediction for each person, personally prepared by Marina, which you understand what it means during the webinar. So thank you so much. Heliacal Phases webinar. There are links for all of those below the video. Check them out. And have an amazing 2018.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.